A lot more activity outside Cosatu House in Braamfontein this morning. Members of the SABC have added on to the Gauteng traffic officials who were here a little bit earlier. We can see members of the media fraternity also out in their numbers. We're here because of the drive slow that Cosatu is undertaking in today in various parts of Gauteng. It is in a bid to gridlock traffic, as it were, in order to highlight their grievances against issues such as e-tolling. You touched on labour brokers, Leanne. That indeed is also one of their bone of contention, as well as the issue of the youth wage subsidy, which is what they say is covered up in this new bill, that's namely the employment tax incentive bill proposed by Minister Pravin Gordhan. So those are a host of issues that they're highlighting. But what we want to know from Cosatu today is whether or not they think that driving slowly on the highway will make officials stop and think, maybe we should reconsider the proposed legislation. So let's find out from Gauteng Chairperson of Cosatu. It is Mr. Phutas Tseki. A very good morning to you again. Do you really think today's drive slow will change anything?
Indeed, we are very confident that with the route that we have traveled so far, it's a reflection of consistency, it's a reflection of sustaining the mass rolling action. And we believe that our government is going to make some review, a retreat, which we believe that we are going to engage on it and get a solution in relation to the dispute that we are having.
We've touched on the issue of e-tolls in earlier broadcasts, so let's speak more about labour issues, labour brokers, and what you're saying is the youth wage subsidy in disguise. What is the problem with those two aspects?
We said earlier that we are going to support the African National Congress, but we are not going to support it just willy-nilly or on a blank check. We are going to make sure that those issues that affect the workers and the poor, the ANC policies must respond directly to them. Among them is the labor broker. We are saying an exploitation of one day is too much. That's why we are calling, even these 3 months that government has moved to advance to, we are still saying that is exploitation. Labor brokers must be banned in totality. Our constitution says there must be no slavery. And in our view, the definition that we are having on labor brokers is nothing else but slavery in a different form. On the issues of employment bill, which we were quite surprised, we are also saying that that employment bill must be reviewed. It must go back to NEDLEC. It must be in line with the Youth Accord. Currently, capital is on strike. Employers are refusing to employ, and there's no way that government can use billions of rand to assist the employers to employ. While Cosatu has called for a BIG, that people who are unemployed, they will be able to go to seek for employment, they will be able to start their own businesses through the subsidy that we thought government should assist us on.
What alternatives do you propose for this employment tax incentive bill?
What we are saying is that billions of rands that are there must be used on BIG, which is basic income grant for the unemployed. It must be used to assist the student that is just qualified, for them to travel, to make copies for their CVs, and also in the main it must be assist for training. We were told that there was 5 billion that was budgeted for youth wage subsidy. That money must go to FETs. That money must go to, in particular, parastatals. That parastatals must be able to employ many young people and train them so that those young people can be employable. We are also saying the training is not only about age, but even people that are above 35, they can still be trained in different forms. We have got layoff schemes where people have been retrenched. That money must be able to look after those people that are retrenched, and they can be able to give them different skills, like from the mining industry, from the farming industry. What can we reroute their skill to another direction? That's what we are saying as Cosatu.
Now, you're expecting about 50 cars to be stationed throughout the major highways, M1, the N1, the N12, as well as the M2. But this is just one part of a bigger protest action that you're planning. Tell us a bit about today's events and how they tie into the mass action that you've planned.
Today's event ties to the 12th of November. Again, we'll be driving slow in Ekurhuleni. We'll be starting next from Katlehong, next to Mporo Church. And then on the 14th, it's a very big day. Gauteng will be red. Cosatu members will be out on the street. It will be a strike that is legal, a strike that is protected, and we are expecting massive support even from the community at large. The other provinces will be on the 12th, that will be the coastal provinces, and then Northern Cape, Free State, and Northwest will be on the 13th, and then we join on the 14th with Limpopo and Mpumalanga. So we are saying this is a mass rolling action, and we believe that we are really energized, and we will be pulling in all forces, in all angles, to make sure that this bill, the e-tolls, and then we're also calling for people not to buy e-tax, that we should run it not to be governable, we should run it down so that government can be able to understand the voice of the masses, because currently we seem as if that all what is being understood there in all these three laws that we are talking about, it's only about those that own the means of production that are being taken care of. The workers and the poor are going to be disadvantaged in a big way on the three bills that government is engaging on.
And now, as briefly as possible in closing, we're really pressed for time, but I want to know from you, the fact that you have to resort to such to move the ANC-led government in your favor, does this speak to some sort of a communication breakdown between members of the tripartite alliance? Are you being sidelined? Are you being ignored?
We must say that in the last few months, there's not been much engagement within the alliance, we agree. There were irritations here and there, but we believe that we are going to go back to the drawing board. The coming CEC of Cosatu on the 18th of this month will be able to assess on how far we have moved. Also assessment of the engagement and the relationship of the alliance. We believe that post that, we are going to assess on how we move towards 2014, because what is critical to us and our members is the manifesto that talks to the needs of workers, and we'll continuously make an assessment on those.
We'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time, and remember that SABC channel 404 on DSTV will continue to bring you coverage on the Cosatu drive slow throughout the day, but from us here this morning, it's goodbye and back to you in studio.